They call them the Frugal Four: Austria, the Netherlands, Sweden and Denmark, the largest four net payers into the EU budget per capita. In the ongoing budget fight ahead of a special EU summit, these are the ones who insist that the future long-term contributions should remain stable at 1% of the bloc's gross national income. In other words, each country should keep paying the same proportion of its GNI into the Brussels coffers. Yet the Brexit hole leaves the EU at a crossroads: either pay for the British loss or cut spending. Reluctant to give away more of their taxpayers' money, the frugal camp wants to tighten the belt. And they insist on maintaining their rebates, a sort of cashback program for the top net payers.
Der Rabatt ist für Österreich eine absolute
The rebate is an absolute precondition for Austria. The rebate should compensate for the gap between our higher financial contribution and the lower return. Austria has become the third largest net contributor. We need to try to reduce this gap, and that's why we are demanding a substantial rebate for Austria.
Hier auch ganz klar einen substanziellen Rabatt für Österreich.
The frugals have a traditional ally, Germany, the biggest EU economy. But this time Berlin has adopted a softer stance than the frugals. The Merkel government has indicated that it might be willing to pay more than the 1% if, and only if, the new budget plan focuses more on modern policies like the digital economy and climate change. A bigger budget, yes; business as usual, no. If we don't get substantially more funding, we won't be able to tackle new challenges without cutting in traditional fields. And that's the so-called cohesion policy and the agricultural policy. We need to decide, do we want a future-oriented budget, or do we want a budget that simply keeps on doing what we always did? Yet how much Germany is willing to pay more for climate change and the digital economy is part of Merkel's negotiating chips. But her argument seems to have some swaying power among the frugals. Most recently, Austria's conservative Green government has signaled some flexibility. Stefan Grobe, Euronews, Brussels.